cracking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Prison Break Raw. I'm your host, the one and only Big JD. Since I had revealed to this channel and to the world that I was on federal probation the whole time, I've been getting a lot of comments of support, congratulations, and all that, but of course, it's a given that you're going to get negativity as well. Some people telling me, well, now that accountability is gone, you're going to go on a sick one. You're probably already on meth. You're going to start using heroin, blah, blah, blah. All this shit. And it's nothing new. I was getting accused of using dope this whole time. I've had people make channels talking about how I'm getting high and I'm high and this and this and that. Right? How stupid they must feel. Knowing that I was being tested the whole time. I was under UA testing as a requirement for being on probation. I mean, there were times where they would drug test me. A couple days later, they'd drug test me again. I mean, it's happened before. You never know when they're going to show up to test you. You don't have a set day when you're on federal probation. In the beginning, you're on what's called color code. Whether you're lemon, plum, whatever case it is, rose, you got to call this number every single day, 7 days a week. And if your color comes up, you have until like 5 o'clock to go down there and piss test. You have all day to do it, right? But when they finally take you off color, then the probation department tests you. And they could just show up at your house with a bottle in their hand, pissing this. And it doesn't matter, like if you have a female probation officer, they'll bring a dude with you, and you know if there's a dude with them, you know you're going to get tested. They'll walk into the bathroom with you, stick their head down, and look at your dick as you are pissing into that cup. It's happened to me several times. I jumped through all the hoops. I did everything I was supposed to do on this federal probation, and it was the first time that I had ever complied with probation, parole, or anything. So when people tell me that the accountability kept you out of trouble, the accountability kept you going all this far, no. Let me give you a little history about me. I've been in and out of trouble, been on probation, parole, all that kind of shit since 1993. And if I've been in and out of prison since 1993, what does that tell you as far as me complying with the conditions of parole or probation? I didn't. I never followed the rules. Every prison term I got after 93, when I lost that H number and I picked up that K number in 96, I went and did my little term, got out late 97. 98, I was busted again. Violator with a new beef is what it's called. Parole violator with a new beef, with a new case. Went back upstate, got out in 2000. Guess what? Violator with a new beef again. Got out again in 2003. 2004, violator with a new beef. Yep. Got out in 2007. And instead of getting a new beef, I just got violation after violation after violation. Straight up absconding. Absconding. I even caught a case up in LA, in the city of Bell Gardens over there. Stolen credit cards, forged checks, all that shit. Violator with a potential new beef, but the DA threw the case out. Lucky in LA. If I'd have got caught with that same shit in Orange County, I would have been violator with a new beef. So anyways, in, 2011, I got done doing the ICDP program. Boom, I was back to running the streets, running with the homies, gang association, being outside of a 50-mile radius from my residence, all that shit. Violation. Go in, get out, abscond. Get busted again, go back in, abscond. Get busted, finally maxed out. But I'm on county probation, Orange County, still running around doing the same shit. Was supposed to check into a drug program, didn't do it. Ended up flying the coop the whole state of California going to Texas. Running around there just on a fucking sick one. Then I caught the bank robbery. I do my time in the feds. I get out. The first time in my life that I promise that I will complete this probation. I will get my life on track. This probation, even though they had me doing all these classes, they had me go seeing a psychologist, drug testing me, all these different things. I can't go anywhere. I can't travel. Can't go to bars. Can't go to strip clubs. Can't go to casinos. Can't associate with any sureños at all. Period. As a matter of fact, when I did the interview with Cricket, I had to ask permission. They had to look at him. They had to look at his channel and say, okay, well, this dude's on that positive stuff. He's on The Biggest Loser and all that. They made the exception for that, but I was already almost done. Like I said, I interviewed Cricket in what was it, July? I think it was late July. My probation was set to expire on the 21st of November, which I didn't even realize. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him. I was expecting, a big grand exit out of probation with him tearing my house apart, showing up, doing all these things. But it didn't happen. Like I said, when you're doing the right thing, you don't get in trouble. And for all these ass clowns and everybody to be running around talking about, oh, look at JD, he's high. And saying that I'm high now and everything. Still ain't using drugs. I've been off probation, over a week now? I could have already been on a sick one. I could be nodding, I could be all that. Running amok. The one thing that I do say is like this, in this real talk. If somebody wants to throw down with me, one of these fucking bitch-ass lames, it's on. Because since, it's just a fucking fight, that would have gotten me violated. Now it ain't nothing. And even if I was to get arrested, I'll just bail myself out. But that ain't like criminal conduct. That ain't fucking going on a downward spiral and all that stuff people say. I work a career, man. I work 55 hours, sometimes 60 hours a week. More sometimes. I'm buying a condo. I got a brand new car. A bunch of money saved up and everything. Well, right now I can't even spend nothing because my lender for the mortgage is examining my bank accounts to make sure that I don't go on a wild spending spree every single week when I get paid. But yeah, you already know what it is. I'm still maintaining, I'm still doing the same thing. So was the accountability factor, what is it the reason why I just played possum and hid out until I was done? No. Because if I wanted to break the law, if I wanted to do all those things, I would have done it anyways. Despite probation, parole, or anything. Because that shit never stopped me before. Period. Nothing stops you from committing a crime. I've said this for years. Parole, probation, they're just a hindrance. They actually do more harm than good in a lot of ways. There ain't a single parole officer, probation officer, that can take the credit for preventing anybody from committing a crime. This condition of being on parole or probation doesn't stop anybody from committing crimes. They do it anyways. Look at that scumbag Philip Garrido up there in California. He was on parole for a sex crime. Had a little girl at his house. The parole officer even met the little girl and they did nothing. Did parole stop Philip Garrido from molesting and kidnapping that child? And keeping her locked up in that place for 18 years? No. Anytime you see somebody that says a parole violator, a parolee just shot a cop, a parolee just shot a rival gang member, That other fool, he was a Latin king that I told you about, was from Connecticut. He gets his sentence commuted. He gets out early. Creeping around his ex-girlfriend's house, trying to cut through the screen and go in the house, still on federal probation. Goes to a hookah lounge, kills somebody while he's on federal probation. There's no such thing as accountability when you're on probation or parole. Those things don't matter to somebody who's got that in their mind that they're going to go out there and break the law. It don't stop them. It didn't stop me ever. And it wasn't the reason why I stayed good this whole time, because I'm still staying good. I'm still doing the right thing. I'm still a positive person in my community. I'm a positive person in my family's life. I have my own accountability. Probation did nothing. If anything, the fact of me being on probation has actually prevented positive accomplishments to occur in my life. I had an opportunity to go work a job making $100K a year in another state. Couldn't do it. Why? Because I would have to get permission from my probation officer, his boss, his boss's boss, the prosecutor, the judge, and then I would have to get accepted in wherever that job was at, that probation officer, his boss, that prosecutor, that fucking judge over there, and I would have to go through all those hoops just to get to this job. Wasn't going to happen. So I lost out. But there's a reason for everything. Several times, like, I couldn't get other job offers because I had to disclose to them that I was on probation, because it's a violation if I don't tell anybody that I'm on federal probation that I'm a felon. I can't lie on my application because it's a violation of federal probation. You have to disclose it. Imagine sitting in an interview telling your prospective employer, your hopefully person that's going to give you a job, that you're a bank robber, that you're a gang member, that you're all these things. These were requirements. These are the things that get people back in prison. It's that recidivism trap. They say that probation and parole is supposed to prevent you from committing crimes. It actually makes it possible for people to continue to commit crimes. It's a waste of money. It's a system that doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. It's not even about accountability. It's just about being a pain in your ass to see how far you could get pushed, to see how many buttons they could push until you snap and break the law again. Or to see if you're really serious about staying right. So it has its positive and its negative. Like I said, I never had an issue with any of my probation officers. The very first probation officer I had, she was a hard ass. She used to be a U.S. Marshal. She was always poking around me, prodding and coming around, peeking in my house. She'd see somebody like walking down the road. Was that guy here? Was he here? Is he a gang member? Is he in trouble? Is he on drugs? Come on, man. It's fucking a homeless dude. I don't know who it is. Even my buddy Wancho came over here one time. He was here when they showed up. Man, they were quizzing him for a fucking a long time, asking him all his name and all his details. He don't have to tell you that. He told you what his name was. That should be good enough. Was he under arrest? He's not in any kind of trouble. I finally had to pull my probation officer aside and said, could you please stop doing this? You know what I mean? I had hurt my back, and this dude took me to the hospital. I called you, and you wouldn't do it. So like I said, man, these things don't prevent you from breaking the law. There's no such thing as, well, that accountability. Nah, if I wanted to do it, I would have done it. It'd have been like, fuck parole, fuck probation. You people ain't stopping me until I'm actually caught by cops. The police officers that have nothing to do with my probation. Personal accountability, integrity, work ethic, the desire and the will to do good, all of these things are what moved me, not probation. So if there is ever any doubt You should know now. Sober all the way through. No hard drugs or nothing. No crime, no run around with gang members. You would have seen him on this show. Did everything I was supposed to do. I jumped through all their hoops and I completed it. Whether they mad about it or not, I don't think they really care. I'm just another number. I'm just another person on paper. I'm nobody special. You already know what it is. You heard it right here. Prison Break Raw, uncut, uncensored, no holds barred, not sugarcoated, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality. And I'm out.